Guys, first of all, why do breakups feel like someone is intentionally pinching your heart? Like, huh? Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those who are new here, Stesh is my name, and let's dive right in. So today's topic is basically Valentine's month, the month of love, and today we shall tackle the commonly asked questions according to Google. Just 10 commonly asked questions according to Google. So our first question on this topic that we find is commonly asked is, how do you determine a healthy relationship? Well, a disclaimer just right now, I'm no relationship expert, but at least one thing I know for sure, that this applies whether it's a romantic relationship, whether it's a friendship, whether it's like siblings and everything, whether it comes from family and all that. It's highly determined by the level of communication and genuine communication that the two people, or three, or four, whatever it is, are able to have. So this one specifically, we're tackling romantic relationships. If you are able to have an open communication and be able to articulate everything that you mean, as opposed to keeping quiet, waiting for the person to ask what's wrong, is everything okay, or waiting for things to build up, this eventually becomes a problem because you are keeping all this information in, you are not communicating to your partner, and you expect that they will understand whatever else is going wrong. Yet this is a bit unrealistic because without communication, it's very, very hard to understand what's going right or what's going wrong. Okay, so the second question is, how do you build trust in a relationship? Again, I cannot stress this enough. Where there is lack of communication, it's hard to know. It's hard to know what this person is thinking. For all I know, the person might be thinking of, let me surprise this person with A, B, C, and D. Let me come back home late because I'm trying to prepare this and that. But you see, because there is no communication, there is no way the other person is able to know what are you thinking, what are you planning, So open communication, transparency, this whole thing. If something is not working, I think it's very important, one, to be okay with communicating what's not working for you, but also the person that's being communicated to, how are you taking this feedback? Not all of us are good with receiving criticism because we take it personal. We imagine that this person is here to attack us, but I think it's very, very important for us to remember that criticism is a part of life. Without that, we cannot grow because it's part of feedback. And then, of course, for the people that are giving the criticism or the feedback, the tonation in which you give that also helps someone be able to change and pick out the very important information. And also, when you approach someone from a place of grace, when you extend grace to someone, they're able then to see you as a person who wishes the best for them, as opposed to someone who is looking to just attack them at any time they do something wrong. Okay, so that leads us to our third point. How do you make a long-distance relationship work? Now, long-distance relationships, that's a very, very touchy subject. For one, I almost tend to believe that I don't think I can do long distance. But then I also know that because for me, one of the major things, the non-negotiables in a relationship for me is communication. If someone is good at communication and it's constant and it's two-way, because I don't believe that it's only the guy supposed to check on the lady and the reverse is true. So if it's constant communication, I for one believe that can be a very strong foundation on the communication, but then also meeting each other halfway. Because say for example, we're in different countries, different continents, there is what we call a time difference. And if you're not able to wait up for this person for the time when they are awake and you're awake, depending on where they are and where you are, so that you can have a brief chat, even if it's for like 30 minutes of a call just to catch up. How was your day? How is your day going? Small things like that. And I honestly think many people take it for granted when they're in the same place, same house, to find out certain things, which now the people in long distance relationships are more intentional about, because they feel like any chance I can get to know how my person is doing, I'll ask them most of how is their day going, what are they going through, all those things like that. So then we have question number 4. How do you get over a breakup? Guys, first of all, why do breakups feel like someone is intentionally pinching your heart? Like, breakups are one of the most painful experiences. Your body hurts, your heart hurts. Anywho, how does someone get over a breakup? In my trail of thought, I would want to believe that when we are in that pain, in that time when we are in pain and everything, the best thing the most that you want to do for yourself is to stop feeling the pain. Now let me tell you something. The moment you start fighting that pain, the pain stays, the pain intensifies. So me, I've learned to just, again, disclaimer, I've not been in multiple relationships. In fact, I'm not anybody's ex, but okay, let me bring it down. After you've gone through the pain, you're in denial. There are those 5 stages of grief: the denial, the pain, the acceptance, whatever. First of all those 5 stages of grief never come in the same go. And every once in a while, they don't have a particular order, because sometimes you'll feel like you're in acceptance, and then sometimes you're in pain, other times you're in denial, sometimes you're bargaining with the situation. So first, let yourself feel the pain, because once you feel that pain, it's like you're letting it happen so that it can phase out. Again, speaking of breakups, let me first drink to that. Let yourself go through the pain. Me, how I usually process, I talk about it with a close person. A close person, basically, that helps me, be able to... The other person is like a buffer, per se, like you're trying to reason with yourself. Most especially, that happens a lot in the bargaining stage of the relationship. You're bargaining with yourself. How could it be? After everything we've been through, after all I've done for him, after all I've done for her, how could it end up like that? Yeah, that's a natural occurrence. Breakups happen, and it's okay. I know, it's painful, but at the end of the day, you tell yourself, it was fun while it lasted, and let's normalize not demonizing our exes, making them look like they were bad people, because also that kind of keeps some residue of the pain in your heart when you keep thinking this person was a bad person just because something didn't work out. Then we have question number 4. How do you get over a breakup? Guys, first of all, why do breakups feel like someone is intentionally pinching your heart? Like, breakups are one of the most painful experiences. Your body hurts, your heart hurts. Anywho, how does someone get over a breakup? In my trail of thought, I would want to believe that when we are in that pain, in that time when we are in pain and everything, the best thing the most that you want to do for yourself is to stop feeling the pain. Now let me tell you something. The moment you start fighting that pain, the pain stays, the pain intensifies. So me, I've learned to just, again, disclaimer, I've not been in multiple relationships. In fact, I'm not anybody's ex, but okay, let me bring it down. After you've gone through the pain, you're in denial. There are those 5 stages of grief: the denial, the pain, the acceptance, whatever. First of all those 5 stages of grief never come in the same go. And every once in a while, they don't have a particular order, because sometimes you'll feel like you're in acceptance, and then sometimes you're in pain, other times you're in denial, sometimes you're bargaining with the situation. So first, let yourself feel the pain, because once you feel that pain, it's like you're letting it happen so that it can phase out. Again, speaking of breakups, let me first drink to that. Let yourself go through the pain. Me, how I usually process, I talk about it with a close person. A close person, basically, that helps me, be able to... The other person is like a buffer, per se, like you're trying to reason with yourself. Most especially, that happens a lot in the bargaining stage of the relationship. You're bargaining with yourself. How could it be? After everything we've been through, after all I've done for him, after all I've done for her, how could it end up like that? Yeah, that's a natural occurrence. Breakups happen, and it's okay. I know it's painful, but at the end of the day, you tell yourself, it was fun while it lasted, and let's normalize not demonizing our exes, making them look like they were bad people, because also that kind of keeps some residue of the pain in your heart when you keep thinking this person was a bad person just because something didn't work out. Bringing us to question number 5 is, how do you, or how can you save your relationship? Again, I'll keep it short and sweet for this one. 1, I want you to sit down and evaluate, is this relationship worth saving? What makes you believe it's worth saving? Because in as much as you want to save a relationship, and I'm not saying that relationships are not worth saving, because honestly sometimes they're just small misunderstandings, or maybe just lack of compromise, or just selfishness from one or both people. So if you can sit down and reflect on that from both sides, if both of you can sit down and reflect on what's going on, how can we do better? Are you both willing to save this relationship? Because one person can say, yes, I would like to save this relationship, I would want us to get back together, but is another person willing to do so? And then ironing out these things sometimes on your own, because you're both in the mix, you're both in the field, it can become very difficult to come to the bottom of the issue. So seek therapy. I don't know why people, especially for us in Africa, most people believe that therapy is either for mad people or divorced people, or very big problems. But I think therapy is as good as a general body checkup. Every once in a while, whether things are going good, things are going bad, go see a therapist, give them an update of what's happening, and then you'll get to understand yourselves better from that perspective, as opposed to imagining that every time something goes wrong, it should lead to a breakup. So yeah, I think it's very important to understand is, are both people willing to save this relationship for the start? And if yes, what intentional moves are you going to do as a couple and as an individual to say, okay, fine, this job brought jeopardy previously, so I'm willing to stop doing this or start doing this so that this relationship can work. It brings us to question number 6 is, what does it mean when a man says no expectations? Okay, so again, in summary, before I even start going on about it, this basically means I'm not seeking to pursue a relationship with you. It does not mean the man hates you and whatnot, but it's basically saying I would like for us to hang out, have fun and everything in between, but I'm not seeking to commit to anything right now. Later on, pursue a further relationship with you. Now, I know it's very tempting when someone tells you that. You're thinking, well, maybe he'll change his mind if I can just prove to him how great I am, how awesome of a person I am. But no, it does not call for that. Again, someone said you don't have to be Bob the Builder. Do you know how many girls are trying to build this man up and build a relationship with him and give him expectations that he didn't have? So you really do not want to be on that list of people. Later on, waste your time. When someone tells you something as big as something that could literally risk this thing that you two have going, believe them. Question number 7. This one is a bit touchy-feely, but again, it's not me asking. These are questions from Google. Why are women so quick to brand a guy boring? Well. Okay, so again, there could be different reasons as to why that ends up happening that way. One, I'll bring it from the fact that men like to chase. Generic description, men like to chase. So if by any chance he gets to pursue you, at first you're not interested, then you start showing him some signs of interest. He likes where it's going, but then after you have given in, sometimes to them it gets boring. Again, these are just things that are said out there in the world. It gets boring. So because they like to hunt, they like to pursue, sometimes you'll end up being on the shelf and then he goes on to the next person. But also, what we define as the chess, the women, sometimes we define the chess as taking me to dates every day, sending me flowers every week, calling me every microsecond to find out if I'm fine, and da. Now, in all honesty, we have to sometimes be realistic. We are in the same economy as these men. Certain things might not happen as often as, say for example, going for expensive trips and everything like that. I know someone will say, then don't be with a broke guy, and nah. I get that, but if you're seeking a relationship, a realistic relationship, you have to understand that sometimes things change. Sometimes money is going to be there. Sometimes you'll have the money and you won't have, and the reverse is true. So at the end of the day, depending on your expectations, you can easily say that, okay, this person needs to call me every often, and now he does not. Yes. This person used to do A, B, C, and D, and now they do not. Yes, sometimes it's simply because they feel like I did what I needed to do in the beginning to get you. And it's not out of disrespect, honestly, sometimes. It's just a general rule of life that before you get a song and you only know one line, you will sing the hell out of that song. But once you get the lyrics and then maybe you get used to the song, the next part after the next part, you just cease to over-listen to that song. I guess it's the rule of demand and supply. Yeah, demand and supply. Before you get something, you want it so bad. My God, I really want this thing. After you have the thing, okay, what next, So I guess it's just the rule of life that... But then again, truth is out there in the world. There are men who constantly pursue their women up to like age 90 for as long as they are still alive, because for them, they want to see this person happy and they want to keep bringing us back in the relationship. Leading us to question number 8 is, how do women feel about female best friends with their spouses? Okay, so one, we are all different. Let me just put that out there. We are different. What I will find as a threat may not be an insecurity to someone else, but I tend to believe that this happens because sometimes guys are very protective of this best friend relationship, like anything you tell him about this person, because also sometimes, and again, I have a male best friend, and maybe there are times when as a girl you might do certain things, marking territory without even noticing, not that you're even interested in this person, but you're thinking, well, girl, I'm the legend in this relationship, you're not telling me nothing, which then brings that kind of confusion of, is this girl just a best friend or she's more? There is even that meme where someone says, what would you do if you found your guy's female best friend sitting at the front in your car, and like you come and you find her sitting and she's not shifting? First of all, if you have gone to pick your spouse, why is this best friend sitting at the front? I know it seems petty, it seems like it's just a car, but listen, those are certain positions you assume. So as a gentleman, as a guy, it's very important that you bring out certain information from the word go. Why is this person special to you? What is your relationship like? And now that you're in a relationship, how often can you guys hang out? How often can you guys talk? For how long do you talk? You see? What do you do for each other? Do you include this partner? Have you introduced your partner and your best friend so that at least they're able to know each other, not looking at each other like she's always trying to step on my toes, or because she's a girlfriend, now we can't hang out with my friend, So I think it's important to just have clear communication from the get-go. Who is this girl to you? What does she mean to you? And you, babe, you're very important to me. And my best friend is my best friend, but I make decisions with you, financial decisions, spiritual decisions. If you want to move a step further, you're the one I'm going to get married to. And I never want you to feel any kind of way. If you see me with this person, it's typically a friendship, and I'll constantly try to make sure that I'm open and honest about where we're at, what we are doing at all times. Okay, so diving into question number 9. How do I know that he or she is the one? This is a very common question. This is a question that we find in the church, asking our pastors, how do I know this guy is the one? Nah. First of all, this whole notion of the one. Personally, I grew up believing that there is that one person that's designed for you. That if you don't find that person, in fact, that everyone is meant to have that person. And then I go back to the biblical principles of, okay, a man shall leave his home, find a wife, Adam was created for Eve. So then I came to an understanding of, okay, so as we see the different people in this world, we are over 7 billion people on this planet. So I don't know how, out of the 7 billion, of course some are into different things. We have children, we have the old people. So there are those differences in demographics that then bring us to a smaller sample space of the people that we are choosing from. I want to believe that there are very many people that can meet a certain, expectation of what we are looking for in a partner. And then there are those people that have lists, a very long list of, oh my God, he has to be tall, handsome, basketball player, light-skinned, rich, all those things, awesome. But before you think of how is this person the one, think of it this way. We meet different people in our lives at different stages of our lives, and each and every one of those people is meant to serve a particular purpose in our lives. Give or take, there are people who come in a day and they'll be able to meet a certain expectation, and then there are people who come to teach us certain things and go. So we end up being tied to this thing that if I find this person and they're looking good and they have a few of these expectations, then they are the one. But then that leads to a string of disappointments because, first of all, imagine it this way. If you got into a boutique, you walk into maybe Mr. Price today, right? You're looking for shoes. Then you first find a pair of shoes, right? You put it on, it looks fitting, it's okay. Maybe that color might not apply to many clothes, like in your wardrobe, but then you're thinking, okay, it's pretty comfortable, so I can work with it. Do you stop at that shoe? Yes. And not even try on a different size, different color, different type? Do you just stop at the moment you enter the boutique, try on this shoe, you pick it and go? You see? Or do you say, okay, fine, let me see which other shoes are here. There are heels, there are flats, A, B, C, and D, Then you say, okay, fine, now that I've tried the different shoes, I think I like the other one. It might not have everything because, again, no one is perfect and no one can ever meet all the million things that are on your little list. But you're saying, this shoe is comfortable. This shoe is comfortable. It can match at least with 80% of the clothes in my wardrobe. I can wear it to a business meeting. I can wear it for a girl's thing. I can wear it to a birthday. I can wear it to office. You see? So I believe that how we meet different people and how we perceive of them and what it is that we are looking for, because sometimes we don't even know what we want, which now brings us to throw out everyone because we've not sat down to know. And also, it's one thing to say this is what you want, but is that what you need? Sometimes our wants are not what we need. So I'll bring it to a conclusion that many people will suit the description of the one, and many people will fail according to you to suit the description of the one. But when you sit down, one, evaluate from God, understand yourself. Who am I as a person? What do I like? What do I not like? What are my boundaries? What are my non-negotiables? Once you get to understand some of these things, then you will know that yes, there is this guy, he looks nice, he looks awesome, whatever, but then he does not meet my standard of a man that I think should be with me for the rest of my life. So there are quite a number of things that you need to consider apart from he's tall, he's fat, he's small, he has muscle. After all is said and done, it goes back to your non-negotiables. What does it mean to you to have a partner? And And what should that partner be bringing into your life? Do you build each other? Do they have an element of teamwork? Do they have a teachable spirit? That's also very important. Then once you figure that out, then you can say, you know what? I thought this is what I wanted, but this could be what I actually need. And then you can say, if this person wakes up and says, will you marry me? I'll say yes. Because I now know they meet A, B, C, and D of what I believe should be in that long life partner that I'm looking for. Yeah, so the one varies. Take your pick, take your crazy, and run with it. And going into our last question, last but not least, our 10th question is, what is the best age to get married? Okay. That's a very interesting question, and it's very important to know that first of all, again, this is entirely my belief, but marriage is a calling, and not all of us are called for this calling. Let me be honest. The simplicity, before we even call it a marriage, what leads into a marriage? A relationship. Dealing with one person who is not you, If you yourself, sometimes you even fail to deal with yourself, bringing your brokenness and they bring their brokenness, and you're supposed to see them for who they are and they're supposed to see for who you are. It's a calling, because one, not everyone has the patience for it. Not everyone can reach a compromise to say, you know what, because I love this person, I'm going to extend the grace to them. I'm going to love them even when it's hard. I'm going to support them even when they don't have the money that I've met them with. So marriage is a calling. And no, is there such a thing as this is the right age to get married? No. Because again, on top of it being a calling, it's a ministry. Once you understand that, you will know. Am I yet ready? Am I ready for this thing that they call marriage, with everything that comes into it? Letting go of all these past things that you've had, the walls that you've built, the selfishness, the anger, the bitterness, the childhood trauma that you've experienced, and saying, look here, I'm bringing my brokenness to you, and you bring your brokenness to me. I will not judge you, I'll uphold you. You see, that line, to love and to hold, is very deep, because loving someone on the days when they're not doing the best of things for you, that's what actually shows that you either love this person for who they are versus what they're able to do for you. And I'm not refuting the fact that in a marriage, in a relationship, people should always be able to minister to one another, provide for one another. But there are days when those things won't be possible. So a 20-year-old who is prepared for this calling might make a successful marriage, and a 50-year-old who was not prepared for this calling might fall out of this calling. Not to say that just because people separate that they were not ready, because again, every relationship serves a different purpose for the season it's there in our lives. But then you have to understand there is no such thing as this is the right age. The world has made us believe that if you're 30 and you're not yet married, someone is out there bewitching you. Girl. First of all, okay, if they're there bewitching you, let them do them. But also, you as a person, when you sit down and think about the true definition of marriage from the biblical standard of how Christ has loved the church, sacrifice. Are you able to sacrifice? Are you able to rebuke in love? When your partner does something wrong, are you going to just keep quiet and say, you know what, let me just let them be because I don't want to annoy them? Or let me wait for them to figure it out that they're doing something bad? Or are you going to sit them down and say, honey, because I love you, I'm going to tell you that what you're doing is not right. It's compromising your integrity as a person, or, it's not looking good in the eyes of our children. Can we do better? Are you going to submit? As women, we are called to submit to our husbands because that's a difficult part for us to do. But for men, they are called to love their wives as Christ loved the church, because that's the difficult part for them to do. So if you're not going to meet certain things, if you're not going to leave your selfishness, your meanness, your insecurities out of the window, and I'm not saying that marriage is made for perfect people, but it's made for two imperfect people trying to make it work and willing to turn up every day, as opposed to people that are just looking for the next good vibey thing. Because once the wedding is done, everyone who celebrated with you has gone. It's you and this person together. So as we look for marriage, as we look for all these nice things, let's remember marriage is not based off age, but the calling and the ministry that you have been called for. And if you're ready, you're ready, and if you're not, you are not. And it's important to not rush it until the time is right. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, feel free to share down below what are those questions that you have always had about marriage. If you're willing to answer any of the questions from your perspective, what do you think about relationships? What do you think about marriage? How do you know that this person is the one? Do mention all those things. And again, above it all, don't forget to do your best, be your best, and God will do the rest. Have a lovely day. Bye.